287. Tang Ru had gone back to rest, and aside from the game, Yixiu had little else to do. It was nearly 6 in the morning. Hardly anyone needed service anymore. Half the patrons were already slumped over their tables. Yixiu got up, took a short stroll, then returned to the front desk to search for a few guides and videos on the One-Line Gorge. He glanced at the time. Already 7 o'clock, the morning shift arrived to take over breakfast, rest, sleep. The day passed just like that. For Yixiu, aside from logging off early, everything else was business as usual. In fact, his mood was even better than usual. Killing a boss and having it drop exactly what you need is the kind of thing that can make anyone happy for days. For the 7 major guilds of the 10th server, however, the hour or so before dawn was pure agony. A fierce debate erupted over their next move. After much debate, they settled on the simplest, most effortless plan: guard the canyon entrance. Yes, guard the canyon entrance. But this time, they wouldn't hide 100 people here like in the early hours. Instead, they'd leave just 1 or 2 like guarding a dungeon entrance. As long as Lord Grimm and his crew came out, they could track their movements. It was the only option left. To set up a proper surveillance network across the entire One-Line Canyon, they simply didn't have enough manpower. In the end, the 7 major guilds coordinated a rotation schedule, swapping out personnel every hour on a 7-guild rotation. The moment Lord Grimm or his party were spotted, a message would be sent immediately.
Although some privately grumbled that this approach seemed to contradict the original plan, which was to have all guild players send out the alert the moment Lord Grimm was spotted.
It's not that different.
But in the end, no one raised any objections, because aside from this, there really was nothing else they could do. And doing nothing at all would have driven them mad with frustration.
Having some kind of plan, anything at all, made them feel a little better. As dawn broke, the other major guilds dispersed, logging off to rest. But for some, this sleepless night was followed by a day where sleep was impossible. Who could that be? Jiang Yu. How could he possibly sleep? That night was pure torment in the dead of winter. Jiang Yu's heart churned with a summer's fury. Lord Grimm Jiang Yu now harbored a deep and bitter hatred for that man.
But as a top player, he still had the necessary insight. Lord Grimm had used some tricks, but his genuine solid skill was not lacking in the slightest.
The fact that top-tier players like them were being suppressed like that spoke volume, even if he's an unspecialized class. And even if he has that weird weapon perfectly suited for it. If I put myself in his shoes, could I, with that same class and weapon, single-handedly suppress all my brothers like that? The answer was clearly no.
This guy's a tough nut to crack, Jiang Yu concluded, tossing and turning in bed. Eventually, he drifted into a fitful sleep.
In his dream, he saw the boss he was about to claim, snatched away by a whole line of players. Jiang Yu roared, leading his guild members to seek revenge.
But the labyrinthine terrain twisted and turned, and they found no one.
Suddenly, a figure shot out from the cliff face, its features indistinct. But he radiated the aura of a mastermind, with the massive ID Lord Grimm floating above his head. Shit! Jiang Yu's loud shout jolted him awake. The dream was over and the sky was already bright. Sunlight streamed through the window screen, stinging his face. For that 1 minute, Jiang Yu felt a flicker of relief.
Thank goodness. It was just a dream.
So many bosses got snatched away. It was all a dream. He glanced at the clock. Almost noon. Jiang Yu had slept for less than 4 hours, and it had been anything but restful. The events of last night and the dream itself churned through his mind once more. Jiang, you could lie still no longer. He rolled over and got up. He dressed, washed up, and got ready in a flash before dashing out of his room. The Tyrannical Ambition Club's dining hall was of course open to Jiang Yu as a full-time hired gun for the guild, but he rarely used it at noon. Gaming was his job, so his work hours were his own, and a chaotic schedule was the freelancer's prerogative. For Jiang Yu, lunch was no longer a regular part of his daily life. It was lunchtime, and the club's pro team players were all eating. Of course, everyone knew Jiang Yu, and they were all somewhat aware of his habits. His appearance now was a genuine surprise.
Even Captain Han Wenqing gave him a nod of surprise and greeting. Jiang Yu acknowledged everyone in turn, then hastily ordered a meal.
He carried his tray over and sat down opposite a lone diner. On this person's table were 2 dishes, 1 meat, 1 vegetable, plus a small bowl of soup filled to about 4/5 of its capacity. He held a bowl of rice in his left hand, his right wielding chopsticks to pick up food. Each bite he took was nearly identical in size. He started eating from the left half of the bowl, and he wouldn't touch the right half until this side was completely finished. He would never touch the right half of the bowl, not even a single grain. That was Zhang Xinji, the vice captain of Team Tyrannical Ambition, a man of meticulous precision, from his meals to his attire, to every aspect of gaming. Seeing Jiang Yu sit down opposite him, Zhang Xinji looked up. He gave a slight nod in greeting.
Vice Captain, there's something I need to discuss with you.
Jiang Yu had planned to speak with Zhang Xinji about Lord Grimm from the start. Seeing they were in training that day, he decided to leave it for later. But after a whole night of stewing, Jiang Yu couldn't hold back any longer. He felt he absolutely needed someone with real skill to properly deal with that bastard Lord Grimm.
Talk after you eat.
Finish eating first, said Zhang Xinji. Jiang Yu grunted in agreement and shoveled the food down, tasting none of it.
The Tyranny players also found Jiang Yu's choice of seat a bit odd. Most people liked to eat with company, chatting over their meal. But everyone at Tyranny knew that Vice Captain Zhang Xinji never spoke or chatted with anyone during meals. So over time, no one bothered to sit with him at the dinner table anymore. Jiang Yu was usually the type to chat with the players, so seeing him sit at Zhang Xinji's table left everyone a bit puzzled. But it was just a passing thought, something they'd mull over privately. No one went out of their way to gossip about it. Everyone ate their own meal, and after finishing, they left the dining hall to go back for their afternoon rest without giving it a second thought. That included Captain Han Wenqing. Jiang Yu did sneak a few glances at Han Wenqing, noticing the team captain didn't seem too bothered. He let out a small sigh of relief. Last night's humiliating affair, while technically unrelated to the team itself, but in the game, the guild and the alliance's team are like 2 sides of the same coin. If the team slips up on the competitive stage, you can bet other guilds will be laughing about it in the game. Conversely, any screw-up on the guild's side would also bring shame to the team and the club. If Han Wenqing ever heard about yesterday's pathetic fiasco, Jiang Yu was sure he'd be verbally flayed alive right at this dining table.